We did not anticipate all the fun news that decided to hit us in the last hour to 2 hours, but here we are. Welcome into the Tri-City Sports Frenzy. And Frenzy takes on a whole new meeting because I think a bunch of us are about to get frenzied up about the bullshit that has just unfolded in Chicago Bears land this evening as Kyle Fuller has been cut. Akeem Hicks has requested a trade, or the Bears have given him permission to find a trade partner, and here we are. So welcome in. We have the tape never lies, Draft Dr. Phil and Shayne the smartest man, Nick Bidding and myself, Steven Johnson from the Bear Front. Guys, what the fuck? Like seriously, I got no words. I got no words whatsoever.
It's just a typical day as a Chicago Bears fan, Steven, right? I mean, that's what this is. You get like I said to you guys, the introductory press conference of a quarterback none of us really wanted. And then, you just are like, all right, we're going to roll with it, see where we go into the draft. And then in typical Chicago Bears front office fashion, they pull the golden hammer out and smack all of us Bears fans right square in the dick and get rid of a cornerstone piece of this defense. So I don't know. Can I swear and do the potty mouth thing on this broadcast?
Do it. I don't care. All bets are fucking off. I don't. You hear me? That means all bets are off. I don't care.
So yeah, I don't know, man. The first person I thought of was my partner in crime down here, Phil, because I know that he's a huge Kyle Fuller fan, like all of us. But
I've never in my life felt such, and there's a lot in the history of this franchise that has made you shake your head on the games. Obviously double doink is so relevant, because it's so recent. And then, with everything, the Mitch debacle and missing out on two generational talents. But this whole offseason has been a showcase of a big fuck you to every fan that lives and dies with this franchise. And it's unfortunate because football is the blood of the franchise. It's what it was born. It is the charter franchise. And when you start to lose that North Star of football being the most important fucking thing to your franchise, it's the only reason why so many of these people love this team. When you start putting the fucking accountants at the table and the cap and all of this shit, and you forget about the playing side of the field, the coaching, the personnel, and getting these things right, then you lose every time. Every time. It's an embarrassment. You are becoming worse than the Jets, worse than the Jags. You're becoming a punchline that becomes Cleveland. Cleveland's turning their franchise around. You are becoming a condescending, I'm better than thou organization that can't do the right thing. You throw these fancy fucking words. We got a new coach. Obsession. We're going to be obsessed. Then it's regression. Now it's fucking collaboration. It shouldn't be termination. Get rid of them, because football is not put in the forefront of this franchise. I look at it from a coach's eye. I could go in there and make this team 1,000 times better. People hate on me. That's fine. If you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. But I fucking believe that 1,000 times over. And I know the right people to do it. You had how many months to get Kyle Fuller, your second best defender? Your second best defender, who, by the way, is the reason why you've won 2 games. His turnovers, his tackling, him creating those turnovers with your shitty offensive guru. and his quarter Daryl Patterson reverses. All of that shit. Kyle Fuller is the consummate professional. He's the one guy that studies the film. Meanwhile, you got Eddie Jackson out here tweeting, destroying your friend. You got no culture. You think Belichick's boys are tweeting that shit out? Oh, I guess we got no, because they have a direction. Eddie Jackson's a big fuck you to the fans. All of them. How do you put your best player on the street? Now you're forcing Akeem Hicks. He's getting traded. What are you going to do? What are you doing? What message? You fucking trot out Andy Dalton here. You tried to Russell Wilson. You put that through Louis Riddick, and everybody's fucking wanting to protect you, Ryan. You suck. You are the worst thing that happened to this franchise because the shoe salesman, Ernie Accorsi, and George, you big fucking pussy, McCaskey. You allow this guy, Ted Phillips, to run you. He ran you. Because he got you a stadium, he gets the free pause. He gets a free pass. He gets everything. And he gets to speak with a fucking Xbox headset like he runs this team. But he's not meddling, guys. He's not. He's just making the decisions on Ryan staying and Matt staying. What? The crosstalk, the condescension, and the hypocritical stances of this football team now has reeked into the personnel and the talent of it. You think I don't go to Kyle in right after the season? You are one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. I know, and I've said this 100 times. My boys, Shayne and Cars on the network were 100% right. Phil, they're going to cut this fucking... No way. Football's got to stand for something, I said. They're right. It doesn't. They don't care. They don't care about the fan. You want to speak the truth? You want to go to fucking brawl? You want to do that shit and have a manipulation of everything? You want the truth? You come here. You come to these guys. I'm telling you, I would change. I'm so upset. I don't even know what I was going to say when this mic turned on. Ask these guys. I'm so fired up because that is the best football player, second best on defense. I watch the tape. It's unbelievable that you can't go to him and tell him how important it is. Oh, by the way, there's a whatever billion-dollar contract they just signed. What is it, Shayne? The professional, they're fucking, what is that term? That law term where they're fucking collusion. There's collusion with these fucking owners. They knew this contract was coming. The cap should never fall, but it did. And yet you got Eddie Jackson out there. You got Javon Wims. You got fighting. You got a culture that they're talking about that's fucking so great. Everyone loves Matt. No one does. No fan does because he ain't winning. He's a disease. He hurt Mitch. Mitch is gone. Dalton's here. Nick Foles is here. All of his boys is here, and no one was able to overcome Matt's deficiencies in learning how to be a head coach. Oh, by the way, at the Charter franchise. So let's get rid of Kyle Fuller. Let's get rid of Akeem Hicks because we got to get our quarterback now. Matt's going to run things. Andy's going to change it. That's not how you do it. That's not how you win. You reward the players that you know that are going to get paid, and the game is still going to matter to them. Eddie, Leno, put the list down. Wims. They don't give a fuck about the Bears. I care more about the Bears than you do, Eddie. I do. Shayne does. Steven does. You want the truth? That's the truth. It's a disgrace. He should be turned. This GM, everyone has their heat with him. This GM doesn't know his ass from his elbow. And that's the reality. No other GM in the history of the NFL misses on two generational talents when the scope, the whole stage is on you and you trade up and miss and you still get another chance. You still get another chance. That ain't right. It's wrong. And now we're paying because this organization is what I was told, and I shared it on our show. I'll share it again by my uncle. This is a mom and pop show run by this guy who's an accountant, Ted Phillips. That's the exact thing I was told. long time ago. And I didn't believe it. No way. Not my Bears. No way. Yes. There's football isn't first. Business is first. Corporate is first. When that's first, United Airways and Cadillac, we got the Cadillac, whatever, press box and all that. They reign first, you lose. At the end of the day, you lose. That's my fucking, I can't believe it, guys. I'm sorry.
I really hope you've
Well,
got
then about do it for us. I think we covered everything.
I really hope you got some medical staff waiting by just to make sure you're
There was an
okay
earthquake on the East Coast, as Carr said. As soon as it happened.
Yeah, Carr's texted me that. I'm like, Jesus, I didn't even hear about that. And then I'm like, oh, now I get the joke.
I feel like James Carville in Old School. That was perfect. I have nothing.
Listen, I know I can motivate a player to play.
To piss Phil off even more, Steven, I mentioned this to you when I came on. To me, this points to the fact we brought this up on our show. These two guys, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, if you think that they're getting launched after the 21 season, they are not.
No,
that's the scary thing.
Now
it's like this rebuild, and are they in charge?
Let it happen, guys. We have to
embrace
the fans. Do not buy a fucking ticket. Don't do it.
Has there been an NFL
Greg
GM?
Braggs just had an aneurysm hearing you say that.
Has there ever been an NFL GM in charge of 2 rebuilds?
Exactly.
Like, has any GM in the modern era ever gotten 2 bites at the apple at a rebuild? Like Mike 2 franchise quarterbacks,
Mike
2 coaches.
He's the owner of the Bengals. That's it.
Yeah.
He ain't firing himself, so it's almost the same.
Great company.
I heard a great analogy today, and honestly, it does feel that way. And it's the fact that the Bears feel like the Bulls in the Garpax years. If you're a Bulls fan, you know how long Garpax sat around and had the opportunity to rebuild. Oh, we got this guy. There's a lot to be excited about. Oh, here's some more mediocrity. And how long were they fucking here? Like 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
And nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. It's the same thing that we are seeing unfold at Soldier Field, at Hallis Hall. The same exact thing. And it blows my mind because we all go into the beginning of this offseason thinking, okay, they're going to do whatever it takes to save their asses. What move have they made to save their asses?
No.
Exactly.
I want to part of Phil's point is they had months to figure this out. We knew this was coming. We knew the cap was going to be an issue. We knew all this. As soon as the gun sounded down in New Orleans after the playoff game, we knew this was going to be an issue. You're telling me in 4 months, basically 3 to 4 months, you couldn't figure out a way to convince Kyle to stay, even if, you're like, hey, take a little bit of a pay cut, but it sounds like they're asking him to take a massive pay cut. It's you had stuff to do and things to move around. And it seems like, here's my other issue, and I won't go on as long as Phil did because my brain is just shot right now.
You can't follow.
I can't. I'm not even going to try. But the last 3 days, it felt panicked. It felt like they went all in for Wilson. They got a no on that, and then all of a sudden, it's knee jerk on Dalton, Fuller, Hicks. Now they're just blowing it up. It feels like the last 48 to 72 hours have been nothing but panic out of this organization. Look, here's the thing. If you made the Dalton move in June or May or sometime after the draft, I wouldn't completely hold it against you. I still wouldn't agree with it. But there was no reason to make it now. You wait till the draft happens, see what you get in the draft, and see where you can go with your player eval from there. You already have Foles on the roster. You're now redundant at the quarterback position with 2 washed-up players. What are you doing? There's no reason to make that move now for triple his salary of last year.
Hey, guys, we got a little bit of breaking news, Chicago Bears news if you want it.
No,
it's
wide receiver Allen Robinson has accepted his franchise tag. So you see the game of poker that's been going on. Not to rain on the parade here, but to Ryan Pace's credit, read the wide receiver market about as well as you could do. I mean, say what you want about Allen Robinson. I never agreed with the game that he and his agent were playing on social media. I mean, if they were offered $20 million a year, they're signing this tag now. And I'm sure that if they brought in Kenny Galladay and he realized the market and they're going to give him 15 or 16 a year, you see
Then they
Allen
trade
Robinson.
Allen.
No, I think that's what's in play. I really do. You know, Kenny Galladay is a hometown
Kenny
guy.
signs is what you're saying, and then trade Allen.
I think it's all on the table. I think it's all on the table, 100%.
It's bizarre that this is lining up the way it is, and seeing that Fuller gets cut, Allen Robinson signs his tag. I think it's gone into rebuild mode. I honestly am expecting Allen Robinson gone by the draft, if not, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's a given at this point. And
yeah.
Why would Galladay want to come here? Is the question.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, he's the homegrown kid, but who the hell would want to come here right now? Seriously,
especially with the mixed messages that you're sending your franchise, your players. You got all these guys to restructure.
Well,
and this is the point.
The guys that are restructuring weren't going to get. Listen, if they were in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes, this was still inevitable with Kyle Fuller and Akeem Hicks.
Right.
Didn't matter. This was going to happen anyway.
That's just to Nick's point.
It's the nature of the business. That's what I'm saying. Kyle Fuller. Shayne, let me go with this real quick because Kyle Fuller with his you can go all the way back to when Green Bay signed him to the deal. They knew they did this because this was the year, the 5th-year option and all this stuff. We were tentatively things were supposed to work out with Mitch Trubisky. He was supposed to have a huge contract. Believe me, if he was good enough, the Bears wanted to pay Mitch Trubisky to be their quarterback. Green Bay knew that. That's why they structured the deal where the Bears were going to have to restructure and kick more money down the road for him. So that this all came from that. You get Russell Wilson here. They're looking at Trent Williams, all these guys. I mentioned it before kind of as a joke to you, Nick, but it's a reallocation of finances. Olin Kreutz talks about this all the time. He's like, guys, I went up to Lovie Smith and I told him in his office, our offensive line fucking sucks. This is when Olin was playing. It's terrible. We can't win. And he's like, I got you, big guy. I got you. Free agency's coming up. I got you, big guy. And he leaves. Olin leaves. A couple of days later, the Bears go out and sign Julius Peppers to a $92 million contract. On the offensive line, they got Frank Omeo. This is what the Chicago Bears have done. You look, Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks. You invest in Roquan Smith, Kyle Fuller.
They haven't drafted a quarterback, an offensive tackle ever since he's been here in the top 3 rounds, except for Mitch Trubisky. And here's my thing, Nick, what you brought up. I'm the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Season ends. We meet. There's trepidation and fired up, right? And then you understand that you're going forward, right? I go out. We are moving on from Mitch Trubisky. This hasn't worked. I'm so transparent with the reality of now my job's on the line that I'm not catering to anybody. I'm telling what everybody already knows. And instead of playing the smoke and mirrors and never talking to anyone, Ryan Pace, you got to understand, guys, I don't want to give any advantage here. I can't say
everything is on the table except for accountability. That's what they should say.
Exactly. Stop with the BS. Go right after the season. We know this is COVID. The owners are in collusion. They're playing a fucking game. The DirecTV, NBC, billions of dollars. Billions. The fucking union should be ashamed of themselves. They should never have settled for this salary. Fuck you. You guys are making money ass over tea kettle here. You have plenty of fucking money. Plenty. So don't fucking the cap stays the same, if anything. That's it.
Oh, it could have stayed the same and it wouldn't have affected anything.
Exactly. And the unfortunate thing, they played that game. So we know the cap. We know COVID. We know we didn't sell a ticket. I go to my players that I know are going to be in question. I want you here, Kyle. This is what's happening. TV deal's coming. This year we need to lower you. We're moving your money into other seasons. That's what you do with your good football players. You communicate and you keep them.
Yep.
Akeem Hicks, the same thing. I don't give a shit. There's just plays where he loafed and shit, but he's a dominant defensive lineman. Same thing. He's earned the prestige for you to go to him and say, hey, big fella, you're getting up in years. We're COVID tight. We want to make a move. Obviously, Mitch is gone. You transparent as fuck. We got to get a quarterback in here. We want to win a Super Bowl with you, for you. We got to move some of your money to next year when this TV deal is going to kick in the cap. We're going to be safe. You're transparent with the players that have busted their ass for you. They saved your job. Nagy and Pace, they did it. Kyle, Akeem, the defense, not Eddie, but everybody else. And the reality is that's what a great football organization does. They communicate. Dante Jones was on our show. I don't know if you saw what he said. Wanstead tells him, hey, big fella, yeah. He goes home. He's cut. He hears on the news. He calls. Hey, is this true? I've been cut? The agent doesn't even know. No. He goes to the facility. He finds out he's been cut there. You're lying to the guy's face. It's ridiculous. This is a cultural pattern. Oh, by the way, who's been there all of this time? The McCaskies and Teddy boy. Teddy. If Teddy had no hand in this organization, he wouldn't even be shown in that condescending presser of collaboration. So he would never even. He would never.
To your point, I understand what you're saying, but Kyle Fuller is not, if Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, the owner, anybody can come to him and say that. And I think he knows how big of a part of this. No. But what I'm saying, Phil, is Kyle Fuller is a businessman first and foremost. All of these guys are in the NFL. Kyle Fuller doesn't want one team bidding on him. He wants 32 teams bidding on him. He knows this. He knows this. He knows he's got the Bears by the balls. He's got a $20 million cap hit. Do you think he's going to sit there and say he's not? He's 29 years old. He's got a limited amount of time to cash in. And it sounds great because we love our team. Kyle Fuller loves himself more than he loves the Chicago Bears fans and the Chicago Bears team. And he wants 32 teams bidding for his services rather than one. And that's what this
know that he's. I understand what you're saying.
Phil, it's common sense, man.
How many of these players I've been around that say, I wish my team loved me. Exactly. All you have to do is communicate.
Love isn't this.
I
isn't
agree.
a hug. It's dream.
I can't agree with that because look how many of the former players that don't have a relationship with this team now.
Oh no!
Aren't around. They're not here because the organization treats their former players like shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying Kyle Fuller wants his
as a businessman. You're projecting what he's saying. I'm saying, but you never hear this guy speak.
Phil, you're projecting just as much by saying that Kyle Fuller is going to be moved to tears because fucking Ryan Pace came and said you're a big part of what we're doing. He wants to be paid.
I think the point is Fuller's still getting his money though too. Yeah. Is you're just whether he gets it now or whether it's guaranteed down the line.
Money that he's getting.
As long as you guarantee that money,
he doesn't have guaranteed money now.
No. What I'm saying is that you would push it and guarantee it. I think that's the idea.
You have one team. Listen, guys, he's a 29-year-old All-Pro cornerback.
Oh no!
Rather than having one team bidding for you for Chicago because they own your rights, now he's got 31 teams that are going to be coming after him.
Devil's advocate with the collusion argument. It is kind of one team if all the owners were colluding.
But you get what I'm saying. You don't think?
I got you.
You don't think that Vic Fangio's on the fucking phone right now to Kyle Fuller? That's where he's going. That's where he's going. He's going to go to Denver. He might go to the Chargers. Yeah,
he could go to the Packers.
Sure.
I mean, he could easily go back. Look what happened. What was that, 4 years ago when that happened?
He'll be a Jaguar with Roy Robb. They're throwing money. He could be a Patriot. They get rid
I
of
get what you're
Stephon
saying.
Gilmore, and they replace him with a better corner.
I guess my problem is, and this goes back to how the Bears aren't a serious organization, is year after year you see the successful organization like the Patriots, the Saints, the Steelers, the Packers, everyone. Every year we hear how these teams are going to be in salary cap hell. And they're screwed. Just wait a year or two, they'll be in salary cap hell. It's coming. They're going to fall apart. Well, those teams are always at the top of the NFL because they have intelligent people in charge that care about football, that are able to go to their players who know that they actually care, move money around, and get creative. And it seems like the Bears, this is a perfect example of the Bears not being able to do that. This is a perfect example of the Bears had a chance to get creative and do some things and chose not to. And it sounds like they didn't even try to. They just went to Fuller and asked him to take a cut.
Their history is that they're not. Ryan Pace is not creative whatsoever. No. Ryan Pace goes to the car lot and says, "How much is the car over there?" And they tell him it's $64,000. He's like, "You know what? Let's get this deal done right now. I'll give you $76,000. Let's just wrap it up." Well, that's how he operates.
All those teams have a QB too. They have a quarterback established, so therefore their business and the team surrounding them are sold. Players are sold. Well, Drew Brees is going to take us, and we have an opportunity. That's where I believe.
Can you imagine being Kyle Fuller and watching the Bears give Andy Dalton basically $10 to $13 million yesterday, and then having the Bears come to you and ask you to take a substantial pay cut? Can you imagine being in that room as Kyle Fuller? You just paid this guy $13 million, and you're asking me to take a pay cut.
Who I've given my heart and soul to this team. He's a consummate professional. He's a top 3 corner in the league. You got a young defensive coordinator taking over, and you're removing a giant piece, the best piece in your secondary.
You're taking bullets out of his gun. You're taking bullets out of his gun and then telling him to go fight.
Arguably, Fuller's been more reliable than Mack, and that he's been on the field more too. Now, Mack's a better player. Obviously, at their peak, Mack's a better player, but Fuller's been out there, hasn't missed time, and he's been pen him in as your starting corner, and you know what you're getting there. And it's not Mack's fault. He's had some lingering injury issues, but it doesn't change the facts of the case.
And you know what this points to also, guys, with these guys having a longer leash, this points to quarterback not being priority number 1 in the draft.
Because that's the way the NFL is run today.
Yeah, no, but this is how
the envy of the league.
Yeah, this is how Chicago does it. You get rid of an all-pro talent, and then you go draft his replacement, and you create a hole, and then you go fill it with your valuable asset in draft capital, here in 6 weeks, whatever it is.
Which we don't have much of.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have more this year than we've had in quite a long time, fortunately.
That's a low bar.
Might get some more capital with the Allen Robinson out the door.
Hey, if I'm Ryan Pace, I'm calling Baltimore and say, you send me Orlando Brown, I'll give you Allen Robinson.
I mean, would you balk at that
trade? I would take it right now.
Oh, hell yeah!
Send him Leno too, and get a fourth receiver.
We'll have Leno drive him to the airport.
Listen, we'll give him Allen Robinson, Charles Leno. We'll send him Claudio for their fucking podcast. we'll wrap this up.
This is the thing that just eats away at me. The more I look at these numbers, though, is like looking to last offseason. You sign Robert Quinn. You sign Jimmy Graham. That is the difference between having Kyle Fuller and not having Kyle Fuller.
Sure.
Plain and simple.
And then we talked about that. And Steven, I'll let you finish, but that goes back to bad drafting because the Quinn money's is a result of the miss on Floyd. The Graham money is a result of the miss on Shayne. And the delay in Komet.
The Komet pick is too, yeah.
So it all comes back around.
That's what he does.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Steven, go ahead.
He covers his mistakes by paying free agents. And it's been like that, and it's reality. Now, I don't know what to tell you. I've seen teams, the culture is a certain way where you cut a guy like this, like a Bill Parcells will cut a guy, and he comes back and signs a fair deal because they know the cap is. But to Shayne's point, this guy's like, fuck you. And Nick's point, you just paid Andy Dalton. You're lowballing me. I've been here since before these guys were here. I've been here. He's a Phil Emery pick, this kid, right?
These guys are different. back when the Bears traded for Jay Cutler on April 2nd, 2009. His very first game, preseason game, was in Buffalo. I went to that game, and I was excited.
Matt Larry Mayer.
Larry Mayer asked me if I wanted his autograph, and I told him I was good. True story. But
Can you put lunch on there?
I got to go down on the field, and this would have been Matt Forte's second season. And I had a white Jay Cutler jersey on. And I said, "Hey, Matt, what's up?" And he looked at me and he gave me the worst fucking look. And it was, "You got this motherfucker's jersey on. He hasn't even played a fucking game for us yet." You know what I mean? That's what it's not. Listen, these higher end guys are going to get paid no matter what. This is Kyle Fuller's last fucking shot to cash in. And it's nobody wants to hear it. But guys, that's what this comes down to. He's a businessman more than he is a Chicago Bear.
I agree with you. I just think there was a way for the Bears to do it. And
I agree. I agree. You know, we don't know for sure if the Bears didn't offer him a long-term contract that was great, and he fucking called. These guys talk behind the scenes all the time.
Of course they do.
They're guaranteeing me this. Vic, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to guarantee you 11 million more. That shit happens. So, like I said, I get it. I totally understand it. You know, Allen Robinson, I think, is a very good wide receiver. I think people that want to put him and say that he's a top 5, top 7, top 8, top 10 lock in the NFL, I'm not there. I'm not
top 10. He's not a top 5, but
no.
Effort-wise, away from plays, he's not good enough. But then that's on the coach. You're allowing that shit.
They misread the market. His agent and Allen Robinson misread the market big time.
Well, now he signs for what? 18 or is it 16 million?
18. Because he gets 125%. Yeah, because of his contract. Because he was so young when he came in. He was just like barely 20. He's 27 years old right now, and this is going to be his second
go around at free agency. It's absurd. You never hear about players like this.
Well, and then he can sign a 3-year deal and do it again at 30.
The guys in the chat asking, the reason why he signs it is now only until he signed it are the Bears able to maneuver, or come to an agreement. And if they don't sign it, you can't do it. You can't trade them if they don't sign the deal.
No, because you don't own their rights, right?
Because you don't own their rights. That's why it's important for them. And I see people in the chat room are saying, "What he signed? He signed. Well, he could be
two
traded
things.
now."
He shit his pants because of the Kenny Galladay meeting, or he knows that the Bears might have hey, go to New York, see if they're within the frame of the deal that we've offered you, but come to us last. See what they're going to offer you, and then let us match it.
So if I'm him, I'm laughing on the plane right there, saying, "Fuck that! I'm not going back there."
Well, I mean, they might offer more. I mean,
but you have to look at it from his end.
Chicago kid,
you have to look at it from his end too, Steven. He comes here, and he's going to be the focal point here in Chicago. Yeah. He's a hometown kid, and I think that counts for something in these guys. You know, you grow up a Chicago Bears fan. Where is he from? In Illinois?
Well, he went to Northern.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, he went to Northern, but I don't know where he's from. Maybe someone in the chat, Glendale.
But there's people out there saying, trade Allen. You're not getting a first-round draft pick for Allen Robinson.
No,
you're not. I said,
maybe a second.
I could say it's second-round pick.
It's the same thing with a
2 and a 5.
Same thing with Akeem Hicks. You just saw Michael Brockers get traded for a 7th-round draft pick,
right,
from the Rams.
That was a trade. I thought he was a free agent.
No. They traded him.
I think a lot of that also had to do with the fact that he more or less was trash talking
Oh, the quarterbacks,
the Stafford
Yeah.
Goff trade happened.
Yeah.
Galladay is from Chicago. He's played at St. Rita's.
Okay, so he's a city kid.
Local.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
St.
We don't
Rita's.
hear many stories about that either.
Jeff Burton.
but we know that
number one fan.
listen, the Bears we already know from the big guns, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all these guys, the Bears at least were somewhat in on Trent Williams.
Right.
And I do have to give them credit here because for whatever reason, Charles Leno obviously is a divisive figure with whomever. The Bears obviously want to see an upgrade there. I mean, they're going after Trent Williams. It depends here. I think a legitimate trade, like I said to you guys, is the Orlando Brown thing. He wants to play left tackle. I think that opens up some things.
That would make me feel a hell of a lot better because that left tackle position,
do that and then you sign Kenny Galladay.
I don't give a shit what Robert Schmitz or one of these motherfuckers tell you.
We watch all of these games. We watch all of these games. And what's one of the number one issues with this roster? It's team speed on both sides of the ball. You go and you watch other football teams. It's blinding the difference. Just watch a kickoff or punt teams. Watch the difference in speed. It's a huge difference.
Sherrick McManus running down.
He's
40.
The old man Sherrick. But Kenny Galladay, if he's healthy and can stay healthy,
and then moving speed.
Yeah, then you're talking.
Then you're trying, and Andy Dalton keeps balls inbounds. I've cut about.
Oh God!
40.
Here come the truthers.
45. Andy Dalton. That's all I was doing tonight. Is cutting fucking Andy Dalton tape, and then they text me this fucking Kyle Fuller shit, and I literally am devastated. I lost it.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing like a trashed background behind you from you just thrashing shit.
I was so excited to look into the group chat when I saw the news on Twitter.
We should be used to it. Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
I just want to watch the world burn. That's all Nick cares. But here's the other thing that drives me nuts, and just a couple things that have just fit into this whole cap situation. And not only the cap, but just some of the things that have been said. I mean, cutting Jimmy Graham, cutting Akeem Hicks, same situation to what would have happened had you kept Kyle Fuller. Like, if you're going to give me the option of keeping those two guys versus keeping Kyle Fuller, I'm fucking keeping Kyle Fuller.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. I said the same thing to Cars and Shayne. I'm like, cut Jimmy Graham, cut Charles Leno, and cut or trade Akeem Hicks. You have to keep that corner.
Well, listen,
corners are so important in the NFL. I mean,
but Phil,
there were other ways to do this.
Do you think that there's a reason why Jimmy Graham is still here? We talked about it last night.
The Russell Wilson friendship, because they really
I just still don't feel like Adam Schefter's putting that out there for he does. I don't think he's putting it out there for no reason. I just don't.
I think that train has left the station. I really do.
It really could come back on the tracks draft day.
Stuff
leading up to that week.
Stuff changes fast. I mean,
I know,
guys. You would be so surprised how many of these fucking guys that are GMs, college directors. I'm not going to name names that are fucking shoe salesmen. They're honestly fantasy football guys. They don't know the game. They don't study. They're just learning now about the quarterbacks in the draft. They send out their fucking scouts. They rely heavily on it. The best GMs are heavily involved, and you see the differences in regards to what happened here. How do you get Watson and Trubisky wrong? Mahomes, I always said, he is that shot. He's either going to boom or bust. So you get nervous about that, right?
That was my exact breakdown.
They're in the same fucking conference, playing the same teams, and you came away from that analysis with your scouts in unison, and you had fucking Dow Loggins on top of it saying it.
Well, it's hard
dialing up
to
no
when
games.
you don't interview the guy.
Oh
It's
my
tough
God. It's
to not even
terrible.
talk to him. And I brought this up with Steven a few times, and it's really beating a dead horse now that Mitch is out of town. But here's the thing. I'll respect a miss. I'll respect a swing and a miss if you do all your homework.
Right.
The Bears just didn't do all their homework on the issue. Look, I'm not giving Pace a pass on the Trubisky thing, even if he interviews Watson and takes Trubisky anyways. I think it would have been a bad read. But you showed up to the test without reading all the chapters. You didn't do your job. You didn't do your due diligence. You committed malpractice as an NFL GM. You're sitting at number 3. You have your choice of 3 quarterbacks, and you just choose for reasons to not interview the most accomplished and really the safest pick of the 3. When you looked, he had the pedigree, he had the pelts on the wall, he had the production. He was a 3 or 4 year starter. Like, he had everything. He's the safe pick. He should have been your first interview. And he wasn't even interviewed and talked to.
And he wasn't. I mean, Deshaun wasn't number 2 on their board. Patrick Mahomes was, and they had such a separation between 1 and 2 that he invested future draft capital to move up 1 spot.
That is an indictment right there.
Oh, I agree, Phil.
That's
Totally.
like
Let's let him take another guy.
That's like failing your fucking car test.
I don't think
it's like going through a red light, crashing into a children's bus, but the guy's giving you another shot.
Yeah.
You can't. How do you do this?
I don't honestly, and I know this is crazy because you can put bullet holes in both of these guys, but Phil, when we talked cap, I think if they do go quarterback, I think it's got very little to do other than Ryan Pace calling in the pick. I think it's a 100% Matt Nagy's guy. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's got
if they're trading
quarterback
at a quarterback.
I do.
I agree.
And it's not only that, but what the hell are they going to have to give up to move up? And is it going to be enough spots to move up as well? Because, I mean,
I think with Mac Jones at 15.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
If Mac's there, I'm getting him. I'm moving up. Yeah, Mac. Hell, fucking yeah. That's my guy. I don't want to be a spoiler.
Listen, I think that the compensation part of it gets a little bit overrated with fans because they're so rabid about the draft because nobody talks that Kansas City went from 27 to 10 for Patrick Mahomes. Does anybody remember that? They gave up a future first and a third round draft pick.
Yep.
To move up from 27 to 10, but then right now the Bears are at 20 and they're like, fuck, they can't go up. Why? Why can't they?
I think the context of being worried about what you have to give up is we have so little to begin with. I think if
they have a first, second, and a third, and a first rounder next year is what I'm saying. If they gave a future first and a third rounder, that can get you from 27 to 10, but you can't move from 20 with a future first and a third.
Yeah, you can. Of
course you can.
You can. If you're in a full rebuild, I mean, you're just kind of piling assets. Like, you just kind of keep kicking.
They don't care.
I know they don't care.
They got to get their quarterback.
The Bears have had great players throughout their history. They've never hit it at quarterback.
102 years.
I mean, listen, I love Roquan Smith. I love Roquan Smith more than anybody, but we have fucking fans that are being like, you can't trade him in a Russell Wilson deal or for I'm like, what? I'll drive his ass there.
Yeah, I said the same thing to Steven a few months ago. I would personally drive Roquan Smith to the airport if you're getting Deshaun Watson.
It's an off the ball. He's fantastic, but it's not. Anybody that says that you can't include him in a trade for Deshaun Watson or for Russell Wilson,
it was the same.
You're doing it wrong.
You can't move Fuller. I'm like, if you're giving me Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, I will also personally drive Kyle Fuller to the airport along with Charles Leno.
Everyone is on the table. Everybody. There's no one that should be off limits.
The only two you can't trade are Mac and Quinn because of their deals, and Eddie Jackson, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just a lot of dead cap, but at the same time, it's just like
the cap is going to triple next year.
I know it is.
That's the fucking thing that everybody's missing, and they'll be writing about this tomorrow, Eric Lambert. The reality is a good, well-run organization has a plan to know and play this right. We have to structure this in now by getting ahead, being transparent with our star players. You've been championing this defense to being Super Bowl caliber, and now you're plucking two huge pieces of that off, and you're replacing it with Mario Edwards, who I love Mario Edwards. Akeem Hicks is a stud. Okay. Yeah, you're going to get Eddie Goldman back probably. Mario's great. I love Akeem and Quinn. I like that front, but Mac and Quinn. I like that front, but Akeem is there. To Nick's point, I can live with Akeem getting moved. I can't on the back end. You don't remember the years of shitty corner play. You don't remember what was Terry Cousins out there? And,
Number 21. Yeah. Brad Biggs is now reporting that he does
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lincoln.
Brad Biggs is now reporting he does not think that this is a precursor to a deal.
Of course it isn't.
A trade, for Allen Robinson. But it's not right now anyway, he says. But it's
that could change on draft day when they're holding their chip.
Well, I think it's like I said, dude, his agent and Allen all of these wide receivers totally misread the market for wide receiver. And I mean, they actually got their asses handed to them pretty good. That's why
wide receivers quickly, and this is a bigger philosophical discussion, wide receivers quickly becoming like that next running back where the efficiency, they're just finding out you can get more with less in a lot of ways, unless you're, a prime Julio Jones type or someone of that stature. But after that, I mean, if A-Rob's a top 10 guy and he misread the market this bad, it's like, okay, now top 5 money means a lot different than it did, 2-3 years ago.
Sure.
Well, and not only that, but for as good as we talked about the 2020 wide receiver class coming out, 2021's even better.
Yeah,
than
there's a lot of guys.
Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown. Want that dude.
Where did he play, Nick?
Like
USC.
I mean, that's the thing. And I mean, you see Will Fuller today signing a 1-year prove-it deal. You're going to get more of these guys, more of these dominoes falling where it's like, I'll play another year, wait for my big bag to come. Like Phil said, when the cap inflates significantly after this upcoming season.
$250 million they're expecting it to go up to in the next 3 years. Yeah.
So just kick Fuller's money. Like you're asking them to take a pay cut.
You gotta play the mental game. Players need to know they're being loved.
He might not have wanted to bet. What if Kyle Fuller didn't want to be here? It's another way you got to look at it.
And that plays into it too. But it's really tough for him to want to be here if they did ask. Now, granted, there's a lot behind the scenes, but if you're asking him to take a pay cut with no guarantee that, hey, you're going to boost me when this huge money comes in, kick rocks. But there's a way to handle this, and it's PR stuff. And obviously, the Bears are really bad at that.
Look at Peterson. This kid signs in Minnesota. What did he sign for?
1 year, 10 million.
10 million. So there you go. You got this guy was considered the best corner in the NFL. I didn't think that, but 1 year, 10 million. So you look at that and you go to Kyle, you got 20 million. We're in trouble, and you're transparent, and you're like, we want to get you to 15, and we'll push a signing bonus and push it that. I just honestly think, Shayne, and I know I'm projecting, my gut is telling me we got the fucking three stooges running this organization.
I get it, but
he wasn't even approached. He was like, take it or leave it. That's the kind of shit that's going on. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's what they did with Brian Urlacher.
Rossini said the same shit. Look at Kyle Long going out there fucking destroying these again.
Yeah, but he apologized for all that. He apologized for all that and said that he was wrong.
Because he wanted a chance to get back in the league.
He meant what he said.
Exactly.
But it also doesn't make what he said untrue.
Exactly.
Sure, exactly. But I just think it's everybody's heard me say a million times on our show, I'm a Occam's razor guy. It's the simplest solution is most likely the best one. And it comes down to money. And then when you go from there, he might not. This is a reallocation of finances, guys. you're gonna see a fundamental shift. All these resources that have been done. You see the Brinks truck go to the defensive side of the locker room. You're gonna start to see this going on the other side of the ball because it's been on the other side of the locker room for what 96 of the 102 years of this franchise. Why have they been so inept on offense? Because they've never taken it seriously. You get Mitch Trubisky and fuck, we're good for the next 5 years. Well, you knew that there was some fucking warts there, and you come on. If going into last year's draft, if I told you guys that the Bears came out of that draft with no quarterback at any point and no undrafted free agent, you would have told me that I'm fucking crazy. But that's exactly what they fucking did.
They haven't drafted a tackle. They haven't drafted a quarterback. These are like you put on the tape. Anybody that knows how to watch tape, it immediately jumps out. There's an issue at left tackle. He's soft as puppy shit. He can't do it. So you have to improve. You bring in company. You draft. You sign a free agent, someone who's hungry that wants the job. You're always trying to get better. Yet we got a fucking Leno cult defending this fucking guy when the tape says, oh my God, how can you say below average is okay? It's serviceable. You can't do that. You're never going to win. So it's unfair to the quarterback in Mitch Trubisky that you have that bad of a football player. I don't care what anybody says. I'm saying that is an issue. You don't go 7-step drops with a guy that can't pass protect and think that your quarterback who has struggled mentally making decisions that now he's going to make it with more pressure on him. No, it's like fucking trying to go over the falls with a fucking, what do you call it? A fucking bucket.
Barrel. Yeah.
Barrel.
Going down the waterfall in a barrel.
Falls with a barrel.
Well, Mitch is going to be close to Niagara Falls, so maybe he can try it.
And the best part now is that now we have Andy Dalton, statue Andy Dalton, who doesn't run with that same
more athletic than you think.
You look.
I'm going to put it up for you.
Okay, I'll watch the tape. I'll watch the tape. Tape never lies. Tape never lies.
He's a lot more athletic than Nick Foles.
He's a hell of a lot more athletic.
That doesn't take all. I'm fucking more athletic than Nick Foles, and I can't run with a
pattern with Ryan Pace. So you look at these quarterbacks, Mike Glennon. Like when Shayne told me that, Brad Biggs is reporting there's some interest. I remember it like it was fucking yesterday. I go, fuck out of here. That was my
any fucking way, right?
Fuck out of here. Was my exact. No, I'm telling you, he sends me. I'm like, oh my God. Mike Glennon gets signed. 45 million,
48,
42, 48,
48, I think
48,
45 maybe.
Nick Foles, Shayne's worst fucking phantom nightmare. It's like the Phantom of the
I lost 2 DirecTV remotes that day when I saw that shit come across the screen. I smashed it. I got the backup and I fucking smashed that one.
That's Matt Nagy's guy. Matt Wise. He's gonna run my offense.
We heard the same shit. We just heard the same shit for Andy Dalton with Bill Lazor.
Here we go with Andy Dalton.
We have the script right here. We just wrote it 12 months ago. Take this out. I'm going to talk to. He knows the offensive coordinator.
To your point on left tackle for the Bears, though, just to make you really depressed, they've been holding this position together with duct tape since about 2002. Blake Brockermeyer, Mike Gandy, Kasim Mitchell, John Tate, John
was
St.
the best
Clair,
one.
Orlando Pace, Frank Omiel, Jamarcus Webb times 3, Jermon Bushrod, then Carlos Leno era. There's been no commitment from this organization to arguably the second most important position on offense. Second or third, you could have the argument.
Yeah.
The last time they drafted an offensive tackle that they
feel good,
and played was 1983. Well, yeah.
He drafted to play
pencil legs.
He had
Martin Colombo. Was that after
Martin Colombo?
Chopsticks for
Colombo was 2002.
Yeah.
Williams.
Chris Williams.
Chris Williams.
He had the fucking
medical red flag, and fucking Angelo drafts him.
He had 2 slip discs.
15 minutes into his first training camp, and they fucking IR him because he had to go get back surgery.
He fucking hit. What was his name? What was that linebacker from fucking Notre Dame that was on the roster with Warwick Holdman, Kari Mitchell, Urlacher,
Oh,
Cole,
Bobby Howard.
Bobby Howard. He fucking came out here. Bobby Howard. Bobby Howard was what, 5'10"?
Yeah, he was small.
Yeah, he was little.
Chris Williams is like, my back is done. Like, can we make this? Can we make? Come on! Like, who's running this? Like, football first. Left tackle. Got to draft one. Got to see talent. Got to get it. Look at the Patriots. They invest in it. The Giants. Granted, they're not hitting it, but they're they're trying. Now it's unbelievable how important that. But the fucking Packers that had this kid, I loved him. I remember texting Shayne Bakhtiari, this whatever the fuck his name
David
is.
Bakhtiari.
At that time, I was like, whatever the fuck. He has long hair. How athletic is this guy on his tape? Then at the combine, I was watching him move. They get him in the fucking fifth round. So they're there to be had. And when we talk about this stuff in regards to the football and the draft, it's imperative that the football understanding of, like, we did Draft Mob on our Patreon channel, which we'll be doing this Sunday as well. And we're looking at this safety from USC, Tulunga. How do you say his name, Shay?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
So,
I got it right here. Let me pull it up.
The point I'm bringing him up is that it just jumps right off the tape that's a football player. Mm-hmm. He ain't going to fucking time 4.3 or 4.9. Say that again? Hufanga. So this USC, listen, I would be on the table standing in the draft room, or I would grab Pace by his throat. I want this kid on this fucking football team. But Phil, he doesn't have great get off. I don't give a shit. Look at his tape.
Yeah,
look at his instincts. Look at his physicality.
He's gonna play for a long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing that
doesn't happen here, Nick. It doesn't happen. They look at offensive linemen and they looking at potential. Find football players. Get me a fucking Nebraska kid who eats fucking cream of wheat and cornflakes every day. That's all I want. And
I'm pretty sure that's what Andy Dalton eats. You don't think so, Phil?
He probably just has creamy hamstrings.
I am not gonna hate on
We will rock you.
Yes.
God.
There he is.
Leading us to the promised land.
There's a lot to like on the Andy Dalton tape. I'll take this moment to say this Saturday, me and my father will be breaking down Andy Dalton on X's with the O's, on the Atoshans, X's with the O's. So if you're a patron, that'll be this Saturday morning, 11 a.m. East. That is 10 a.m., Greg, for those of you in the Midwest and around Chicago. So that's going to be a live coaches clinic, honestly, looking at the tape of watching Andy Dalton. And I've literally spent all day cutting tape. So
the tapeneverlies.com, right?
Yep,
yeah,
www.
Get you there. $7 a month. Get you all the complete access, behind the scenes, expanded coverage that we do. But one thing before we do wrap up with that, Phil, and we talked about this last night, and guys, I do think it's really important, is don't take this out on Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
no, and you and I on the same wavelength.
I don't hate Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Andy.
I don't think the move makes sense in context, but actually, I don't mind Andy Dalton.
No, he's not a bad quarterback. He's
okay. He's what he is.
That's right, exactly. And I mean,
He's better than Foles.
Arca, she's like, he's no Jim Miller. Sorry. And I'm like, what are you? I'm like, put the green beer down and holster the tweeter. I don't know what fucking talking about. But no, he's serviceable to better.
No, he is. Honestly, guys, I'll say this, spoiler alert now. He's Josh McCown. That's what he is. He's that guy that is more athletic than you think.
So the meatheads are going to want him signed to a 12-year contract extension by week 4, then what you're saying.
And they'll mispronounce his name.
Very heady. He's more athletic. He anticipates. Yes, he makes some mistakes. Don't get it twisted. So did Josh McCown. The reality is he's an upgrade to Nick Foles. And that's all we have on the roster.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Totally agree.
If we had signed Andy Dalton last year instead of Foles, I would like, I
think
golf
the
clap and move forward.
You know what it is? Everyone,
Because it would have been $3 million.
I
Yeah,
want to
well,
clarify it,
the
though,
difference-
because he wasn't cut at the
Right.
time.
He was cut in May. He was cut after the draft. The
well,
Bears-
I'm just
Yeah.
saying perception wise. I think
Sure.
everyone's
Oh, I
pissed off
totally
right
agree.
now,
Yeah,
so
it's just like
it's coloring everything right
yeah,
now.
and
They were
a
going to
lot of
cut
the,
him.
you
They
saw
could
it
have
today.
went to him and traded a fourth for him. If that's
Yeah.
the guy, you go to your offensive coordinator. He still traded for Foles.
Sure.
You knew you make those calls.
But you saw it today. As soon as it came out that Mitch signed for 2.5 in Buffalo, there was people like, oh my God, what would you rather have? Andy Dalton for 10 million or
Don't do
Mitch
the money cap comparison
for 2.5. And Mitch was never coming here for 2.5 ever.
No.
And I sent out a tweet, and it's 100% true. The meatheads that are saying that, we could have had him for 2.5 are also the people that wanted to pick up his 5th-year option and pay him fucking $28 million for 2021.
Right. They're not taking ownership. See, everybody, this is my confession. Everybody says, I said that too. I said that too. The fact is, I'm having to say it in front of everybody. So there's nowhere for me to hide. I don't talk with an exit clause, and neither does Shayne. I don't have a clever Austin F tweet that I can get out of this shit with. The reality is my truth is here. I don't word things cleverly. In fact, it's so blunt that I intimidate everybody. I don't know. The reality is blunt is the only way Philly blunt is going to roll. And that's the reality of this conversation here. It's so unfortunate that we have an organization that doesn't care enough about football and care enough about its fan base that it is a fucking addiction for every Bears fan I know, because I live in Connecticut and Bears fans are here loyal to the T, just like they are everywhere else in the world. We have loyal listeners everywhere in the world. So I don't say, even if I was from Chicago, I don't say I love the team more because I'm from the city. We're all in it together. So we all have to stand up and fucking not participate with the blog boys and the narratives and not buy the tickets. That's the only way this fucking McCaskey clan is going to understand that it's not okay. You just fucking traded people's favorite player out of town. Christ, Alex Acevedo bought his fucking jersey. He's out.
Right.
I mean, it needs to be a repeat of the end of 2014. That's ultimately what it needs to be, where you watch the people stand up and leave in droves, and by the end of the game, you're looking at an empty stadium, and then all of a sudden, George is like, "Oh shit, I guess the fans are mad. We should be mad too." It's the same fucking thing 7 years later.
Ted, go get me a new GM. We gotta roll this back.
Oh my God.
Virginia's pissed. Remember all the fanboys.
My mom is pissed, guys. My mom.
How many times do we hear that?
I've never seen her so mad. Wait,
I was not home by the time the street lights were on. She's angry.
When Sylvie, I always call him Steve. It's not Steve, right? Sylvie on ESPN.
Mark.
Sorry, Mark. Yeah. Sylvie Strong. When he pushes back on George. So wait a second, George, with his voice. Wait a second, George. So who makes the call on Ryan and Matt? Well, Ryan and Matt they're the football guy. So who's holding them account? Nobody. This is real life. This is like a Saturday Night Live skit, not the Bears. It's the bullshit right now. It's complete and utter chaos. They don't have a plan. Louis Riddick can sit on the side and do his thing and look like a fucking gem, a diamond. But the reality is everybody is having to deal with Ted Phillips. And that's really Ballard confirmed. He said, I want this fucking guy out, Ted Phillips, and I want Cutler out. Those are my two conditions for this job, because he grew up in this culture. And you know what George said? I'm not meddling. We don't. No, Thank you for interviewing. It stopped. That's directly from somebody else told me that, and Cap completely 100% on our show, keeping it 100, confirmed it. I didn't even have to tell the story. I said it before. I started the story. Tell me if this is true. And Cap finished it. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Ballard would have been our GM if we had no shoe salesman Ernie Accorsi. You just are. Imagine this. My last point. Then I gotta go. Is that my wife?
Real quick.
Real quick.
Famous last words, guys.
Real quick. I love you. I love you guys. And this was healthy for me because all of that anger.
You might have woken up with a stroke if you didn't get this off your chest.
Oh my
man.
God.
Bill tweets with a straw now.
I don't even tweet. I
can't. I'm in Twitter jail.
I don't do Twitter anymore. I've been run out of town. If you're here in a franchise where your family, just think, look in the mirror, everybody now. You're a Bears fan, you're upset, you're angry. We're all there. I'm done with it. Don't lie to yourself. You're not done. It's an addiction. I know this. You know this. The best way is to attack is through the pocketbook. That's the best way. The collusion aside and all that shit, they're going to be fine, but it's going to be embarrassing for them on television that you don't go. Fans don't want it. They don't want to be a part of it.
You think they want 2 years in a row of nobody in the stands?
They don't want that. Trust me. So that's what you got to
Greg
do.
will lose his podcast. You have to rename
Gregory, you don't buy the I don't care how addicted you are.
Greg's on the
Gotta
couch.
get my fix. Don't do it. Get away from the ticket masters and the ticks, flicks, and all this other shit. Don't do it. The last point, imagine, like I said, close your eyes. You're all whatever. Your family owns this business and you're brought up in it and you have no idea about football. Can you imagine? Like, that is the most ignorant thing. If you actually sit down and think about it, your fucking grandfather is the founding father of the NFL and you don't know anything about football. That, to me, is the showcase of why we're here. You're a McCaskey. All you cared about was money, the stadium, and how you look in front of everybody else. That's the reality. It's not about the car you drive. I'm not saying that. It's about how you look to the rest of the league with the beautiful, stadium on the fucking beautiful in the city, walk through the park. I don't give a shit. I think it's gorgeous. People, it looks like a UFO. I think it's awesome. The energy there, the stadium, obviously, cars has said it. It should have been a bit more seating. All that shit aside, Chicago is the most beautiful city. I go to New York all the time. It's not even close. Not even close. Chicago, you got it. You don't got us in pizza. You got us. But the reality is, that's my final thing. When I go to bed tonight, I'm saying, forget Ted, all that shit. I'm saying, fuck you, George. You're the reason that this has happened, because it shouldn't take an Ernie Accorsi or an outside firm who has collusion themselves. They're getting paid by agents and other. All this shit is just like fucking the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm telling you, that's how crooked all of those outside firms, they're hiring their agents, buddies who have paid. It's that simple. So you, as the grandson of the founder, should say, I know football, people. I know football. And you know what? This kid was raised in this program, in this environment, and he should be the guy because he knows the fuck where the shit stinks. He knows. And he wanted to cut the shit out from underneath the Chicago Bears. And George and Ted, well, George wanted no part of that because that meeting was between Chris Ballard and George McCaskey, and George couldn't do it to Ted. And that's the reality. And that's why we're here with Ryan fucking Pace. Never been a GM. Has he even been a scout? Was he a college scouting director? Was he ever a titled
He's a pro
think he was-
personnel guy.
Yeah, I think it was pro
Yeah.
personnel guy.
Okay,
New
so
Orleans.
he went up the chain. First time, same situation with Matt. Never been a head coach ever. But let's put him as the head coach of the Charter franchise. Guys, I hate to be Philly blunt, but I think I'm going to need a Philly blunt tonight. I said it all.
You have said it all. That's for sure. I mean, you just gotta get it off your chest. And,
I did.
no, I mean, I think we're all in that boat. Man,
Just don't give up hope. There's hope. We'll see. But
we'll get there someday.
help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
But
right.
okay, so before we do get out of here, and although
you're getting out, I'm going to say goodbye.
you're saying goodbye, okay.
I have to go.
Oh, you have to? Okay.
Yes.
You can't wait 2 minutes? 2 minutes.
Yeah, he can wait 2 minutes.
2 minutes I can do.
You got to sit through this. That's all I'm asking. While we might question, while some people in the front office have the balls, this message for people who do have balls, and that being everything on Shy City Sports is brought to you by Manscaped.com.
Keep your pants on, Nick.
There you go. I'm keeping them on. Manscaped.
I never had them on to begin with.
Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology and provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. An exclusive offer, 20% off plus free shipping. So 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code ShyCity at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Maybe George can help himself out there. And,
we need to take the safety guard off the lawnmower 3.0 and send it to George.
That's what we call the business a segue.
Yeah.
George needs a Manscaped.
So check out the tapeneverlies.com. Sign up for the Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube pages for Shy City Sports, Tape Never Lies Network. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere you find us. Keeping it 100 every Wednesday night with Draft Dr. Phil and Shayne, the smartest man. Nick and myself will be picking up the Bearfront podcast. At some point, we're mad right now, and we're here. And we vent it out for God knows how long, but we'll be back at some point. We got some draft coverage coming up on Shy City Sports as well, so stay tuned for that, as well as Draft Mob with Tape Never Lies Network that they carry off every weekend, every Sunday morning.
Yeah,
correct. I appreciate no Stevie Walnuts mentions over the course of that.
You wait till you see the new promo we have coming up.
God, I'm afraid I'm not going to ask, but here we are. I'm looking much better than I did 2 weeks ago. I think Phil can vouch for me there. So thank you all for watching here this evening for the free agent frenzy, or really the airing of grievances with the Chicago Bears and whatever the hell they're going to do tomorrow. God help us all. So until then, stay tuned to ShyCitySports.com and also check out Tape Never Lies and all the fun stuff they have going on there as well. Good night, everybody.
Night.